One of the most fundamental things that we need to do when we're coaching anybody, and even coaching ourselves, is to cultivate at its foundation self-awareness, looking in the mirror and being honest. Now, for 31 years, I've actually said coaching is a two-step process. Number one, it's getting someone to look in the mirror. Number two, it's getting them to take action on number one. Very few people are going to do number one arbitrarily on their own, so it makes things tough. So how do you drive self-awareness? Let's take someone with a negative attitude. If someone has a negative attitude and you go up to that person and say, Bob, your attitude's terrible. Julie, I don't think people like you. Your attitude's really negative at times. In reality, when you hear that, what are those two people going to do in that moment? Say, you know what? You're right. I agree with you. It's tough. Coaching is about using questions and framing out thoughts and perspectives, and then certainly, inevitably, hopefully, actions. So Julie, what are you going to do to successfully engage with your teammates from a positive perspective? Bob, what do you think you could do to maybe raise the perception of you coming off really diplomatic and energetic? And what could we do to prepare for that together? Questions drive self-awareness. Now, when you're asking questions, a key component, a very fundamental key component, always use questions starting with the word what. Because if I say, Bob, what are you going to do to successfully engage with Julie? Versus, Bob, why don't you get along with Julie? Those two questions seem simple. They don't seem like they'd have really differing effects, but they will. Because the why question will fuel why he has discord with Julie. So remember, driving self-awareness, use questions specifically with the word what. And be upbeat, be friendly, give them permission to be vulnerable. And when you hear somebody say, yeah, you know what, I could be more positive. Well, that's awesome. Don't sit there and look at them and say, I told you so. Self-awareness is tough. Now, the way you also build self-awareness is to start with the good things that people do. To literally start with the good things. Bring them into the office for the good stuff. It'll open the door to where they need to improve. They won't hug and kiss you, yet they will be a little bit more receptive. We all know this, right? When we ask people. Your boss says, hey, I need to see you in my office right away. What's the employee's first response? It's always, in 31 years, I've never had someone say, my promotion's here. They typically say things like what? Oh, I must be in trouble. Uh-oh, here we go. Why? Because we've kind of created that belief system. So call people into the office. Focus on your people's strengths. It will gain momentum in the conversation of where they need to improve. Good luck.